Have you ever looked at your life and thought, everything should be working? So why doesn't it feel like it is? You have goals, you have opportunities, you have talent, you have experience. People might even look at your life and say, you're doing well. And yet, internally, something feels off. You feel overwhelmed, mentally cluttered, emotionally exhausted. You struggle to make decisions. You keep second guessing yourself. You find yourself constantly starting over. And what is frustrating is that you can't quite explain why. Now, if you have ever felt that way, there's a good chance you are experiencing something most people never talk about: a lack of internal coherence. In fact, I would argue that internal incoherence is one of the biggest hidden causes of overwhelm, decision fatigue, emotional instability, and burnout among high-capacity individuals. And yet, almost nobody is teaching people how to recognize it. Today, I'm going to explain what internal coherence actually means, why it matters more than productivity, motivation, or discipline, and how it might be the missing piece you have actually been searching for. Because once you understand this concept, you'll begin seeing yourself and your struggles very differently. Let's get into it. When people feel overwhelmed, they usually assume they have one of three problems. They think they need better time management, they need more discipline, they need greater motivation. And sometimes those things help. Those things help. But often they don't solve the real issue. Why? Because many people are not suffering from a performance problem. They are suffering from an alignment problem. Think about a symphony orchestra. Imagine every musician is talented. Every instrument is perfectly tuned. Every performer is highly skilled. But nobody is performing the same way because they are not following the same conductor. The violin section is playing one piece, the brass section is playing another, the percussion section is playing a different rhythm. What? Would there be sound? Absolutely. Would there be music? Not a chance. That is what feels like when internal coherence is missing. You have experience, you have intelligence, you have potential, but different parts of you are pulling in different directions. The result isn't harmony, it is noise. And most people spend years trying to resolve the noise by becoming more productive. But productivity doesn't create coherence. It often amplifies incoherence. So let's define it clearly. Internal coherence is the degree to which your values, beliefs, emotions, priorities, identity, and actions are working together instead of competing with each other. That's it. It's alignment within yourself. Think about Captain America. One of the reasons he became such a trusted leader wasn't courage. It was congruence. His values aligned with his actions. His beliefs aligned with his decisions. His words aligned with his behavior. Whether you agreed with him or not, you always knew where he stood. That was internal coherence. Now, compare that to someone who says, family is their highest priority, but spends all their energy chasing external validation. Or someone who values peace, but constantly says yes to things that create stress. Or someone who wants freedom, but structures their entire life around other people's expectations. That is internal incoherence. And here is the key. The more internal conflict you carry, the more energy life requires. Because you are constantly fighting yourself. You are constantly fighting yourself. This is where things get interesting. Most people think overwhelm comes from having too much to do. Sometimes it does. But often, overwhelm comes from having too many internal conflicts. Too many internal conflicts. Think about how much energy gets consumed when you want to rest, but feel guilty resting. You want to say no, but feel obligated to say yes. You want to change careers, but fear disappointing others. You want simplicity, but keep pursuing more. Those internal contradictions create friction, and friction consumes energy. Imagine driving a car with the parking brake partially engaged. The engine works harder, fuel burns faster. The journey becomes exhausting, not because the car is weak, because resistance is present. Many high performers are living this way every day. They are not exhausted because they are incapable. They are exhausted because internal resistance is draining their capacity. The tragedy is that they respond by trying to work harder. But more effort doesn't remove friction. Alignment does. Let me give you 5 signs. Sign 1. You constantly overthink decisions. Not because you lack intelligence, because competing priorities are fighting for control. Sign number 2. You feel successful but unfulfilled. Your achievements are growing, but your sense of peace isn't. Sign number 3. You keep starting over. You make progress, then lose momentum, then restart. Not because you are lazy, because your internal foundation isn't stable. Sign number 4. You feel busy but unclear. Your calendar is full, your mind is crowded, yet clarity feels distant. Sign number 5. You need constant motivation. Every few weeks, you need another book, another podcast, another breakthrough moment. Because you are using motivation to compensate for misalignment. They are not necessarily discipline problems. They are often coherence problems. And that's an important distinction. That is an important distinction. So how do you build it? How do you build it? This is where most personal development advice goes in the wrong direction. The answer is not adding more. It is aligning what already exists. Here are 3 questions I regularly use in the internal coherence recalibration model. Question number 1. What am I saying matters that my life doesn't reflect. This reveals gaps between values and behavior. Question number 2. What decision am I avoiding because of internal conflict? This reveals competing priorities. Question number 3. What is creating the most emotional friction in my life right now? This reveals where alignment is missing. Most people don't need more information. They need more honesty, because awareness creates the possibility of recalibration. And recalibration creates coherence. Think about a compass. When it's slightly off, the error seems insignificant, but over a long distance, you end up miles from your intended destination. Small internal misalignments create life consequences over time. That is why coherence matters so much. It matters so much. Let me leave you with this. Most personal development focuses on helping people do more. More goals, more habits, more productivity, more achievement. But if the real breakthrough isn't doing more, what if it's becoming more aligned? Because when internal coherence increases, decision making becomes easier. Stress becomes more manageable. Emotional stability improves. Energy increases. Clarity increases. Not because life becomes perfect, no, but because you are no longer fighting yourself. That is the power of coherence. And that's why I believe internal coherence is one of the most important performance advantages a person can develop. Not because it helps you do more, no, but because it helps you become whole. And when your values, your beliefs, your emotions, your priorities, your identity, and actions begin working together, you stop wasting energy on internal battles. You stop carrying unnecessary mental noise. You stop living in constant friction. And that is when sustainable performance becomes possible. If this message resonated with you, comment here below with the word coherence and tell me which of the 5 signs of internal coherence stood out most to you. Let me repeat that. Which of the 5 signs of internal incoherence stood out most to you? If you are ready to escape overwhelm, restore emotional stability, and create decision clarity through internal coherence recalibration, subscribe to the channel. Because the goal isn't just success. The goal is becoming someone who can experience success without losing themselves in the process.